Assalamualaikum. Hope so you are doing well. In this video, I'm gonna discuss about the string. In previous lecture, I have covered the basics concept of Python. What are the variables, data types, and other thing that is more important for the basics. In this lecture, I'm gonna continue with the strings. In last lecture, I have discussed how can we access the string by using index, and also I have discussed how can we reverse the string. So start with a string. So I'm creating a variable as word. Obviously, if I want to make a string, so simply I need to put quotation marks, then I write any word, let's say Python. Now I want to modify it, so how can I do so? We have so many uh, functions to modify our string. Let's say if I print whatever I want to show on my output string, so definitely I need to use print statement. So if I print the variable word, if I want to print this string, so definitely I need to call the variable in which the string is stored. Now run it. So here is the Python. I can change the word. Let's say I write computer science, and now if I run the code, so here is the computer science on my computer screen. So whatever we stored in a variable, so we can print it by calling the variable name. Now I want to modify my string, so simply how can I do so? I need to put a dot, then if I want to change it in uppercase, so simply I can use upper. Then if I run it, so all my letters are in uppercase. Let's say if my string is in already uppercase, let's say whatever, let's say computer. If I run it, so nothing will happen because it's already in uppercase. But if I want to make it in lowercase, so simply I can use lower. Now if I run it, so now the word is in lowercase. Computer. Also let's add some other let's see, computer science. Now let's title. So if I run it, so as you can see, the first letter of each word is capital. This is how can we make a string in title form. Let's say if I write anything else, let's say here I can write we are we are learning computer science, and if I run it, so every first letter of each word is now in uppercase. So this is how can we make our string in uppercase. Also we have some other replace. Now let's say I want to replace any word. Let's say um, any word I can choose. Let's say my name. My name is opaque. So some people write from O, but some people write from U. So if I want to replace, how can I do so? Okay, I'm gonna remove it. So simply I can open bracket. So as we know, the word is stored in the variable as word, so definitely I need to modify this variable. So simply how can I do so? I can call the variable name as word, then dot, uh, then I want to replace, so simply I can use replace, then open brackets. Now what I want to replace with, so I want to replace O, then comma, then I want to replace it with U. Now let's run it. So now here O is replaced by U. So this is how can we replace any letter. So this is how can we modify the strings. Also we have discussed some escape characters. So let's discuss. Let's say I create a variable as a sentence. So we are learning Python. Let's say I want to show on my string like we are learning Python. So obviously I can print sentence. Now run it. Okay, but let's suppose I want to highlight the word Python by using quotation marks. So let's try to do it. So if I put quotation here and here, so as you can see it's already indicating the red line, red underline, that there's something wrong. But let's run it. So it says invalid syntax. So we cannot use the quotation mark under the same quotation mark. So we need to separate it. So how can we do so? When we want to use some special characters and it is also a Python built-in, so how can we separate? By using forward slash just before the special character we want to use. So now as I put the backward slash from this first quotation and another backward slash from the first is last this quotation. Now if I run it, as you can see, here is a Python under quotation. Let's suppose if I want to put double quotation mark, so simply I can use it directly. I don't need to put the backward slash because both the signs are different. Let's say if I run it, now the Python is under double quotation marks. So both the quotation marks are different. If I want to give you another example, if I want to show a double quotation mark, simply I can put my string in single quotation mark, and whatever I want to show in double quotation mark I can write, let's say Python. So here the Python is under double quotation mark. Let's suppose if I want to show my string under single quotation mark, so definitely I need to put the whole string under double quotation mark. Let's say uh, now. So this quotation mark for the string double quotation mark and the single quotation mark for the string modification. Now let's run it. So as you can see, now Python is under single quotation mark. If I want to show double quotation mark, so I need to put under single quotation mark. If I want to show it under single quotation mark, so definitely I need to put it under double quotation mark. Now let's clear it. So this is how can we solve this problem. Let's suppose if I want to add, let's say I remove this one. If I write, let's say we are learning, so we are learning Python. Let's suppose if I want to put Python in next line, so how can I do so? By using backward slash and so here Python in the next line, we are learning, then in the next line Python. So this is how can we do so. Let's suppose if I want to put a tab between different words, let's say here I want to add a tab, so by using backward slash and if I run it, so here is a big space between R and learning. So these are the escape characters. So we are done with the strings. Now I want to explain if and else statement. So for if and else statement, we have discussed different conditions and situation and also some assignment we have solved. So I'm gonna give you the revision. So when we have different conditions and different like situations, so we use if if else. So if I write here, so if and else. So here I want to tell you about the if and else. So we may have some conditions and situations, so how can we manage them? Let's suppose we have different conditions like condition 1, condition 2. So also for condition we have some statements, let's say also we have some statement. Sorry. So here, let's say in our real life example we have some condition. Let's say we can say if first condition my is true, so I have this statement. Otherwise, if first condition get false, then I have another condition. For another condition we have other statement. So for Python uh, i- how can we write the syntax for if else? We have if, then the condition, then colon, then we have the statement, whatever the statement, then else, then the statement. Okay, so in Python, so we have if this condition gets true, so this statement comes under if. This statement comes under if condition. So if the condition gets true, so this statement will run. If the first condition gets false, so obviously this is not going to work. Then we have an else statement. So the else statement will run ultimately. Okay, so let's take an example. If I say, let's suppose, if you complete your work, so this is the condition. If you complete your work, then I can pass any statement. So I can write we will play again. So if you complete your work, then we will play again. Else, in else I can write any statement. Let's say you need to complete. Okay, so my statements depends on the condition. We will play a game. When we will play a game? When my condition gets true. If you complete your work. So if you complete your work, yes, so definitely we will play a game. But if my condition gets false, let's suppose you did not complete your work, so ultimately else statement will run. You need to complete. So here are the two situation, either this situation or this situation, but also we may have different conditions and situations. I can give you an example. Okay, so we can take another example. First of all, let me just tell you what is the syntax. So first of all, we have if, then whatever the condition, then the statement, then we have an else. Now in else we can also have another if conditions. When we have different multiple conditions, so we use elif by combining if and else together. So we can have elif, then our condition, then it's a statement, then also we can have another elif condition, then we ultimately we have else, and then it's a statement. So we have different conditions. Let's suppose if our first condition gets true, so this statement gonna work, and we are not going to so the code is not going to run with these conditions. Let's suppose if first condition gets false. If the first condition get false, so First of all, it will check this condition. If it gets false, so it will come to this elif condition. If this condition gets true, so definitely this statement gonna work. Let's suppose this statement also gets false, so then ultimately it will come to the else part, then it will run the else statement. So let's discuss the different examples on Python. So here elif means else and if. By combining together we write elif because for our easier to reduce the complexity of code we use it together, it by default by the Pythons. Now let's run an example on Python. So let's run the first example as we have discussed. So I want to ask the user could be any person, you and I and any other person. So I want to ask a question from a user, and definitely when he will reply me, so I need to store his answer. So where, as we know, we store different data types in our variable, so simply I can create a variable. In variable I can ask a questions and I can store the answer. Let's suppose if I create a variable as questions, then assigns a question. So I want to take answer. I want to take answer. So it's mean I need to take input. So here I can write input. Then I can assign any questions like have you complete your work? So I also mentioned yes and no. Now I need to compare my answer. I have two situations, either yes or no. For such different condition and situation, as we have discussed, we use if. So if for the syntax. Now I have stored the question in a variable as question, so I can call the variable as question. Now if I need to compare, for comparison we use double equals marks. Then I compare it with yes. Let's suppose if the answer is yes. Okay. Here is my question. So here is my questions. Whatever I have write in my question, have you complete your work? And if the answer is yes, if the user replies yes, what should it do? Now here I am writing the statement. Print is an statement, so I can write we will play a game. But if answer is no, definitely, so here we have two conditions, either yes or no. So we don't need to compare if answer is no, because if the answer is not yes, so definitely it is supposed to be no. So I can write my other statement in else part. Here I can write print, and then sorry, then in print I can write you need to complete it first. Alright. Now run the code. So here it's asking me this one. Have you completed your work? Yes or no? So let's say yes. So we will play a game. So if my answer is yes, so definitely we can play a game. Let's suppose if the answer is no, I run it. So have you completed your work? Let's say I say no. So you need to complete it first. So here now my condition get false because I have compared the answer yes. So as I entered no, so my here the condition gets false. So we will play a game. This statement not gonna run. So ultimately we have another print statement, that is you need to complete it first. Also we have some other examples. Let's say um, let's say if I create a variable as signal and I want to ask which color signals shows. Let's say I want to take the input, so I can write input, then I can write what color signal shows here. As we know, we have different colors in signal traffic light. I'm talking about the signal traffic light, red, green, and yellow. Let's say if the color, so I can write if signal is red. Okay, so if I am comparing the signal with the color, if signal equals red, if the signal equals red, so we can write the traffic light is red. Okay, so also I can write let's say stop, because it indicates we need to stop. The traffic light is red. Now we have another condition. So now I have multiple conditions. The light could be red, green or yellow. So definitely I need to put another if, because it could be red, green or yellow. So by combining together if and else, so we use elif. Elif signal equals green. Okay, so we can write go ahead, the light is green. Then in else we have else. In else, sorry, we need to compare it again, because we have also another condition. If signal gets yellow, if the signal light yellow, so we can write the question. Okay, so it could be an alert because the signal light is yellow. In else we can write invalid input, because we want the desired input as red, green and yellow. So now let's discuss it as a story. First of all, I ask a questions and I assign my question in a variable in signal. What color signal shows? If signal is red, if signals equal red, so stop, traffic light is red. But if signal is not red, let's suppose this condition get false, then we have another condition. Signal equals green, so print go ahead, the signal light is green. But if both the first one is false and the second one is also get false, so we have another condition. If the signal equals yellow, so it should print this statement, question traffic light is yellow. If the user input doesn't match with these conditions, either red, green or blue, so it should print like invalid input. because we want to compare it red, green and yellow. So as we have discussed, we have else condition just after if. So here is an else condition also. Here is else then if. So by combining them together we write else. So there is an else of this if, and there in line number 6 there is an else for this if, and this is the else for this if. Now run it and check it. So what color signal shows? Let's say red, red. So stop, the traffic light is red. Okay. Now run it again. Let's say I input green. So go ahead, the traffic light is green. So it's going to work. Now let's say someone inputs yellow. So now run it. So caution, traffic light is yellow. Let's suppose if a person who doesn't know uh, what he has to input, so let's say he inputs any random color like pink. So pink, invalid input because we don't have any pink color in traffic signal. So this is how can we compare different conditions. I want to show you something else. Okay. So this is the example. How can we use different if and else condition? Now I want to show you another example by using if and else. Let's say we have already discussed this example, but I want to uh, uh, give you the revision it again. So let's say I want to compare the age of any person. So I created a variable as age, then I need to assign some value, but I want to take input from the user. So simply, because age could be a number, so I need to assign an integer, then take input, okay, then input, and I can write any sentence like what is your age. Now I need to compare the age what the user inputs. So definitely I can compare this variable because I am going to ask the age and I am storing the answer in a variable in age. So if age, let's say if age, I am comparing as less. If age less than let's say 13, if age less than 13, I can write you are a child. Okay. Then I have other conditions also. Definitely I need to use elif. So here elif is age. If age less than, let's say, 20, so I can write you are a teenager. But I want to compare more ages like then alif, let's say age less than um, let's say 40. If age less than 40, I can write my statement as print So I can write you are an adult. So also I can compare other values, but I want to keep it uh, last here. So what can I do? I can simply use else part. So here I can use else statement. I can write let's say print, then like I can say you are elderly. Okay, you are elderly. So now let's run it and check the output. What is your age? Let's say someone inputs 4. So you are a child. Okay, now run it. And what is your age? Let's say 17. So you are a teenager. Okay. So let's say what is your age? Someone say like 28. So you are an adult. Now run it again. Let's say for 30. Also you are an adult. So it's working according to our condition we have set. For what is your age? Let's say 60. So you are elderly. Okay. So this is how can we use if and else condition. Now run it. Let's say someone inputs -5. So what should it return? So you are a child, but we don't have any age in negative like -5, -2, -3. So for negative value it's showing you are a child, so that's mean we need to set the conditions. So here we can write, let's say if age less than 30, and we have discussed about and or operator. So and age greater than 0. Now let's run it. Does it work correct or not? So let's say what is your age? Let's say -5. So here you are a teenager. So here it means we need to compare all the values. So here how can I do so? If age less than 20 and age should be greater than because here we have compared 13, so there should be greater than 13, like 13. For simply here we can do the same, and age should be greater. So here we have compared 20, so we need to compare with greater than 20. Okay, now let's run it. If I write what is your age, let's say input -6 and run it, you are elderly. So it means also we need to write another if condition for greater than for greater than 40. So here I can write another elif. Let's say elif age greater than because I have compared here 40, so I need to put here as 40. If age greater than 40, you can write you are elderly. So here, what is your age? Let's say -5. So it prints nothing because we did not define what should it print when it gets negative values. So simply we can write in else part whatever we want to show, because we have compared all the possible values. So in else part we can write invalid input in else part, so we can write invalid input. Now let's run it. Okay, so what is your age? Let's say -4. So invalid input. Okay, now run it again. Let's say someone input 0. Also for 0, invalid input, because in the first condition we have compared the age should be greater than 0. So all the values including 0 and less than 0 are supposed to be invalid. So if I run it again, what is your age? Let's say 4. So you are a child. Okay, what is your age? Let's say 16. You are a teenager. Then for 34, let's say enter you are an adult. Then what is your age? Let's say someone say 90. So you are an elderly. Let's suppose someone inputs now any negative value, so it should indicate invalid input. So when this condition gets true, when this condition gets true, the age should be less than 13 and greater than 0. So it starts from uh, its limit start from 1 to 13. So every number under 1 to 13 are supposed to be child. Then for this condition, from 14 to 19, for because this should be greater than 13, so start from 14, and less than 20, so just less than 20 we have 19. So this is gonna work for from 14 to 19, and for this condition gonna work for from 20, sorry, from age, here we have greater than 20. So it's gonna work from 21 to 40. Here we are comparing less than 40, so this is it could be 39. And for all the values greater than 40, from 42 onward. Okay, so this is how can we compare different values. So in this lecture we have covered how can we use if and else statement, and how can we uh, print different statement by using if and else. Hope so you are clear with all these examples, but still you have any confusion and any questions, so feel free to ask me. Till then, Allah Hafiz.